Setting for the final weekend of the regular season in men's soccer, the number 8 team in the nation, the North Carolina Tar Heels, hosting the Boston College Eagles alongside Patty Foss, former national champion at UVA. I am Dallin Cuff, and Patty, it's going to be an interesting game. This Boston College team right now, they are winless in the league, but their coach Bob Thompson says, hey, playing in this league, if we win this game and we win some in the ACC tournament, we can get ourselves in the big dance. Conversely, for North Carolina, they're the number 3 team in the RPI. They have a chance. They will definitely host a first-round ACC game. The question is, how many games will they host in the NCAA tournament? Do you think we're looking at a top 4 team in the nation that matches that 3rd-ranked RPI?
Well, certainly trending that way. I mean, this is a Carolina team that not only has some quality wins on their resume, but has yet to have a bad loss. And so when you look at tonight and a team that's at the basement of the ACC, a quality team, by the way, that's at the basement of the ACC, this sort of is a must-win for Carlos Zamora and the Tar Heels, because you don't want to drop this one, because you won't be able to get one of those top 4 spots in the NCAA tournament. Just putting aside the ACC tournament for now, huge implications for both.
Yeah, the ACC tournament has mentioned the state of play. They are currently 3rd in the standings. 2 through 8 host an opening round game. North Carolina is locked into that. Pitt will win the regular season title if they win tonight or draw against Syracuse. That game is underway. Or if Clemson loses. Clemson is currently trailing to Virginia Tech 2-1 right now in Blacksburg. So we'll keep you updated on all those games going on. To your point, with this game here, there's so much to play for both coaches, really. It's a must-win. North Carolina, to protect their NCAA chances of a top 4 seed and their seeding, they've got to win. We already mentioned Bob Thompson and BC. To have any shot to really get to their ultimate goal of getting to the big dance, they've got to win this game on the road. And they are winless in league play, but he played here. Bob Thompson was a great player, two-time Big East tournament MVP back when he played in 2000, 2002 in those years. But he's now in his 5th year here. He's trying to get this team back to where they were when he took over as an interim manager in 2019, which is the NCAA tournament.
Well, he's done a tremendous job. I mean, put aside that they're winless in the ACC, this is a Boston College team that has taken really each and every one of their ACC contests down to the wire. 5 of the 7 have been 1-goal games. So it's not that much of a stretch to think this could be an NCAA tournament caliber team. Now, their resume doesn't say it. For now, they're 78 in the RPI. They need a key result, but you go on the road to a team that's 3 in the RPI, and you start to think, if Boston College can get a result here tonight, some folks outside of Chestnut Hill might start paying attention, and certainly they have some of that belief.
Yeah, they do have that belief, and Bob Thompson did a great job with this crew. They are much improved. Every coach, every time you can watch it on film, you see how their improvement from last year, and every coach in the league will tell you that. They are not an easy out. We played forward to Andrew Check. He works with C.J. Williams. North Carolina coming off a 2-1 win on the road at Stanford. A big result for this Tar Heels team. They had a brutal October where they saw themselves go to at Notre Dame, at Clemson, at Stanford in 3 or 4 weeks, and then host the number 1 ranked team in the nation at the time, Pitt. Tate Johnson, the freshman, stepping forward. Connects with Sam Williams, 3rd team All-ACC last year. Out to Juan Cafaro, back to Williams. He's got Hilly peeling off, can't connect with him. Johnson out for the first corner of the match.
And you're already seeing some of the tactical changes from this Boston College team. It's a team that's gone with 4 in the back throughout really the entirety of the season. Bob Thompson electing to put a 3-6-1 really. It'll look a lot like 5 across the back though in the defending phase of the game. That's because Carolina loves to bomb forward in the wide spaces, trying to cut down on some of those areas and some of the danger from this Tar Heel squad.
Come back to the tactical switch in a second. Sam Williams to take, in-swinging ball. Headed out for a goal kick. You mentioned the changes, so and it could look like a 3-6-1 situation here. How hard is that? You've been playing a certain system. Now you get to the last game of the season. We know it's hard, midweek to put things in. How challenging is it to switch the system up and play in a different format, a different way in your final game?
Yeah, I think most of the players will have seen it, at least for bits and pieces on the training ground, and certainly this isn't the first time that they've tried it out, but it's the first time in live play. And it says more about their opponent and how dynamic this Tar Heel team is, the ways that they can get at you, especially with those wingbacks bombing forward. But you're going to see the wingbacks for Bob Thompson, the Eagles, dropping deep, and that's Max Andrews, Christian Behar. Those are natural outside backs, not natural midfielders. Look for them to play more defensive-minded here, at least to start.
Cafaro on as Johnson got taken out. Let's look at the other side of the coin. For Carolina, I mean, Carlos Zamora was an exceptional coach. He won a national championship, national coach of the year. But as a player, once you see what you didn't necessarily expect, how do you try to find solutions live in action?
Well, I think what you're going to have to find is different spaces because of really what is going to be a 5-4-1 for long phases of this game. There are different pockets of space, especially through central midfield. So for a Carolina team that loves to exploit wide areas, they're going to have to pivot a little bit. You're going to see Cafaro, certainly Andrew Czech, just have to tuck in, find some of those pockets of space and see if you can be dynamic in and around the top of the box in your combination play.
Williams and Johnson over the ball. Sam Williams, the junior from New Jersey. Third team All-League, as I mentioned. Johnson to take, though. Swings it back post, and Klein just spills it. No foul called there. Brennan Klein, the redshirt senior from Phoenix, able to corral and say, let's settle down.
Well, it's a testing ball into the box here. And like you say, Klein just a little bobble there. Certainly not enough contact to have our center referee get involved. But those are the sort of easy ones that you got to come up with your goalkeeper, and you're looking to get a result against a very quality Tar Heel team.
Jameson Charles connects with Matthew Acosta. Johnson cutting inside. Out to Cafaro. This cross not where he wanted it to be. What are these games like? I mean, you obviously won a national championship in Virginia. They're very rarely in the ACC where you have an opponent that has a record that you can look at on paper and sleep on, if you will. What is that like mentally for a team like UNC to make sure that you don't play the record, you play the guys?
Well, this is a tricky game, and I think Boston College always a hard out and always a team that perhaps isn't at the top of the standings. So you know to a certain extent they're going to be very organized. They're going to make it very difficult to create chances through the run of play. Now, that being said, we've talked about UNC and how consistent they've been really throughout the fall. We've said no bad losses. They've gotten some really big results. It's easy to look past this game and on to the postseason now that we flipped the page in November. But you talk about Carlos Simano and his staff. He'll have these guys up to play this game, and they will know the implications not only for the ACC tournament, but for the NCAA tournament. We're talking before the match, and if Carolina is able to lock up a top 4 seed in the ACC and the NCAA tournaments, they won't leave the triangle for the rest of the fall. That is massive as you look to win championships.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Cary, North Carolina will host the semifinals and the finals of the ACC tournament, and the same thing with the NCAA tournament as Charlie Harper spills out of bounds, maintaining possession for the Heels.
There's not much here, just trying to get around. Charlie Harper does well to put that big frame in between the player and the ball and see it out for a goal kick.
Andrew Cordes, the goalkeeper, the redshirt junior from Denver, had an outstanding season last year, was third in the country in goals against average, first in save percentage. Again, he's up there in shutouts. He's got 6 shutouts, tied for first in the ACC this year. As a foul's called on Luke Hilly, the transfer from NC State. Interesting thing with Cordes in this, how this organized North Carolina is, he's 14th in saves, which means he's not busy back there a lot, which is a good thing.
Well, he makes the saves when he's asked to, but you know, beyond just what he's capable of and keeping the ball out of the back of the net, Andrew Cordes really among ACC keepers is the most dynamic with his feet, loves to play out through possession, and certainly this is a Carolina team that will use their goalkeeper in the build on the offensive side of the ball.
Costa puts it on the deck to Cafaro. Here comes Parker O'Farrell. Harper out to Johnson. Jameson Charles. It's O'Farrell, junior from Raleigh. Looking for the channel for Hilly. Klein will clear it off the football practice facility. Lovely facilities here in North Carolina. Oh, look, they get the wide shot. Ryan's listening to me, our director. Beautiful. Redid this well, I think like 5 or 6 years ago, the basketball and baseball, the soccer and lacrosse, and the facility was redone. Obviously, the football practice facility is beautiful. The basketball facility is legendary in Dean Smith Center. To Williams. Johnson back to Acosta. Charles gets it out wide to O'Farrell. Andrew Check making the run, and it's deflected off of Behar. You can clearly see the 5-4-1 you were discussing here from our vantage point wide right now.
And just so many bodies, let alone this is a good defending team in Boston College. But when you put that many players in the defensive third, there's just no space. It's hard to play through. And so Carolina, really important, and they've done a good job of this, really important to pivot the game, to play side to side and make Boston College work for the ball, make them run back and forth because
flicked on into the arms of Klein.
See a decent ball in the box there from Tate Johnson. But to finish that point, just make Boston College work side to side. Sure, that's easy to do in the first 10 minutes, but as this game goes on, that's where you're going to break them down. You're going to start to see tired legs and perhaps some of those spaces that you're looking for.
Far, a little bit of a foot race, and Behar wins it. Play back to Mark Boy. Out wide to Max Andrews, the transfer from Army. He was Rookie of the Year in the Patriot League 2 seasons ago. Riley Thomas, second team All-ACC last year. Second team All-American as well. The coaches. Faro spins into some trouble, turns it over. Ask Eklund. Back to Burkhart. Out to Behar. Big switch. Boy looking for Michael Asari. Check rides a challenge. Back to Thomas, co-captain. Costa. Rutgers transfer, carries it forward, almost turns it over. Fall championships are upon us, folks. 3 more ACC championships for you right here on ACC Network and the ESPN app. Women's soccer first round coverage underway Sunday. 6 o'clock, you'll have Virginia Tech taking on North Carolina. 8 Eastern, Notre Dame taking on FSU. The Noles defending their ACC and NCAA crown. You can get those games 6 o'clock and 8 o'clock. Field hockey quarterfinals begin Tuesday, 10 a.m. Eastern. And the men's first round starts Wednesday, 6 and 8 o'clock. ACC Network is the home of the ACC championships. Obviously, the Wednesday men's field will be determined here tonight. Everybody in action, with the exception of UVA, who had their off ACC week, played Mary Washington midweek, a Division III team, very good Division III team. Won that game, but everybody else in action tonight. Cal Stanford, that rivalry finishes things 10 o'clock Eastern time, and the full bracket will be set. And we get this thing going with 15 teams for the first time ever on Wednesday. What are your thoughts on that? How this thing works out? The first team, who likely will be Pitt, regular season champs, gets a bye. Everybody else is playing in the first round. What are your thoughts? Well,
it's sort of interesting, especially the dynamic of a bi-coastal league now.
Yeah, it is a bi-coastal
so
league.
Now you're going to have teams that are going to have to travel to Stanford. Sure, Cal's going to be away, but you're going to have to go to Stanford in that first round game at least. And so it's just another dynamic. And really, we've talked about how deep this league is. We're looking at a Boston College team that's very quality, currently in last place. And so just a lot of parity at play in that first round. So, can't be really more excited for all 15 teams because each and every game will be competitive.
And you see the live standings as we look at them now. Pitt, Clemson, and North Carolina have all secured a first round home game for sure. And we will determine what the other teams are. And SMU is up right now in their game over Louisville, as Asari now gets turnover, going, striding down pitch. Trying to play it into Eklund. It'll find Cortez. Duke is up on Notre Dame at home, just down the street, about 8 miles as the crow flies from here. And a big game for both those teams, particularly Notre Dame. Been pretty enigmatic. The runners-up nationally last year have a lot of the same guys back, but they've had a lot of strange results and different ups and downs through the course of the season.
Ups and downs is exactly right. I mean, it's a Notre Dame team that, as always, very tactically sound, very organized, are capable of beating any team on any given day. But what we've kind of seen from them throughout the year is that they're also capable of losing some of the games that they're supposed to. So big wins like Clemson on their resume have them in the conversation, but that's certainly a bubble team, and we'll get to that later.
Looking out wide for DeSantos, does not connect. Big switch from Williams, too much on it though. You mentioned that game against Clemson. That's like a result. We did that game. Devin Kerr and I were up there in Notre Dame for that game, and they were down. But Adam Lunderberg, with a just like a captain, lost his mind, gets a red card. Notre Dame scores 2 goals off of mistakes, and a result like that may carry the day for them in terms of getting in the tournament. As you mentioned, we'll go through some of the bubble scenarios and who's in, who's out in your mind as we get to halftime here in our broadcast. Brennan Klein to take the goal kick. Sorry, battling. Sean Clark, our center official, eventually points to Boston College ball. Gundelock on the ball. Over to Boy. Boy's pass picked off by Charles. Turned over again. Behar floats it in, looking for DeSantis. Coming in hard, and that will be a foul. About 15 over. About 17 minutes in. I'm no mathematician. Your thoughts so far, Patty? KG start?
Certainly a little cagey. I think, though, it's been a good start, especially for Boston College. The game's played out really how we thought it would, but Boston College will drop deep for long portions of the match and try to defend, frustrate Carolina when they're in possession. But I've been impressed with Boston College and their composure when they do get on the ball. They've had some possession themselves and certainly seem to be building in this game. So a lot of positives here in the first 17, 18 minutes for Bob Thompson.
Could be a huge result for them. They are winless in league play. They have 3 draws on the campaign, on the road to Notre Dame, home to Louisville, and against Syracuse as well. And as you mentioned earlier, those losses all by 1 goal, and they're tough games, especially at your alma mater UVA. An unfortunate situation there. Some refereeing questions and some card questions and different. It was an eventful game, but they fell to the Cavs in the end. But those are the differences between getting in and getting out when you look at the NCAA tournament selection committee.
Well, not only the 2 red cards they took in that game and a questionable goal that was awarded for Virginia, but had a point-blank chance with 13 seconds left that Joey Petruni came up big and saved the game. So it could be a real different story for this Boston College team, and I think that's what you're seeing already tonight. This is a quality team, but you have to get results to play soccer in November, late November and December. So can they start to get hot and get those results that sort of evaded them thus far?
It's really, Bob Thompson was really clear that his guys have never hung their heads, despite not getting the results that they thought they deserved or worked for. We'll come back in a second because Williams is on the ball with tons of space. Back to Johnson. Go out for a corner. These Eagles have never hung their heads. They've battled continuously. Their attitude is great. They're seeing the improvement. They're saying they've won all they haven't lost in a non-conference game. So being in this brutal league, they've struggled through it at times. But this team is much improved and has all to play for. If, they get to the curse of this league. You got a lot of high RPI games. If you win them, it changes your fortune. Williams, the second corner of the match. In swinging ball to the back post, headed down. Klein there.
That's 2 tremendous services into the box now that we've seen from Williams. And there's some big boys on this North Carolina team. So that, for Boston College, and as well as they've done throughout the run of play and keeping it tight, not allowing Carolina to get a chance, the last thing you want to do is give up a set piece. Now we've seen 2 from Carolina, which they've looked very dangerous.
Sam Williams, he's a junior from New Jersey, part of that Red Bull Academy. ACC All-Freshman team in 22, 3rd team All-League in 23. He's had a great career and continues to be one of the best players in the league. And whoa, Brennan Klein confident, and then Hilly's going to be called for a little pull of the jersey, and now Hilly may get carded too. Sean Clark's going to bring him back and have a word with the North Carolina State transfer. Hilly had the game winner in that 2-1 W on the road to Palo Alto last week.
in Luke Hilly's defense, a goalkeeper pulls a little Cruyff move on me too, I might give him a little bit of a tug.
Harper pokes it to Costa. Czech can't bring it down. Behar. Well played. Pass, sorry. Freshman charging forward. Crafty on the ball. Finds Toro. Oh, nice dink to Behar. He might have a chance. Can't pull the trigger. Still on it though. Shoots it wide. Still play there from the Eagles.
All right, totally crafty play here at that. Christian Behar from that left wing back spot, getting into the attack, getting the ball in and around the box, and almost finding his way with it with a chance on goal.
As we get the goal kick from Cortez, we do have an update from Blacksburg. Virginia Tech, desperate need of a key marquee win. They're up 2-0 at home. It is now 2-2. The Tigers have battled back. Jeron Jubé scored in the 78th minute. We were told also Joseph Andema, the very talented junior keeper for Clemson, had a bad injury earlier in that game. He was substituted out, so the Tigers dealing with a lot of adversity, but finding a way to tie this up. That would be heartbreaking for Mike Brizendine and crew if they can't come out with those 3 points. Because in their RPI situation right now, they are 47. Again, we'll touch on some of this at halftime with Patty's bubble watch. But that's probably the outside looking in. Usually you'd be in the mid-30s. You're nervous.
Yeah,
you're in the 40s, you're in trouble.
If you're inside 40, you got a shot, but outside 40, it's going to be really tough, and especially for a Virginia Tech team that, on October 10th was sitting at 12 in the RPI, feeling pretty good.
Yeah. And they're a much improved team, a lot of different players as well, but they've had some tough run of results in this league. Toro out to Behar. Burkhart. Boy. Lindelof out to Williams. You're doing some gesticulating over here. Thoughts?
I'll tell you what, Boston College is coming to play. Yeah. I mean, they've had some really good stretches of possession. They look wildly comfortable on the ball and are really just dinking it around Carolina at this point.
Bob Thompson's got to be happy on the road of where they're at. Almost a turnover. That's how Carolina got on the board at Stanford. Turnover leading to a goal. For Hansen. Andrews. Almost found Eklund. Almost turned over. Sorry, quick. And Riley Thomas barely won that race. And now both players are still down behind the play. And Rashawn Clark will stop play. Let's see if these guys need attention. Thomas is upset. Thought there should be something there.
Well, you can hear our center referee, Rashawn Clark, saying to Thomas, you both hit the ball at the same time. I'm not quite sure that's the case. Thomas certainly gets there first, and as a late challenge from Asari, who probably got the worst of it there. Riley Thomas coming in very strong, very hard, as we've seen so many times throughout his 5 years.
Asari's still down. He'll receive some treatment. Freshman from Ghana. Started the last 5 games, really grown into this season. Scored in their last outing, a 4-2 W against Stony Brook. A trial last summer with Inter Miami and Charlotte FC. Applying his trade now, Chestnut Hill. It's good sportsmanship, dap each other up. Everybody else on the field just cleared off to get some water right now. Or the vast majority of players, I should say, as Carolina readies a few subs. There's the aforementioned Hansen, the freshman from Denmark, coming in, 13. And also Tate Lorentz will come in, a sophomore from Winston-Salem. He'll replace Hilly.
both Hansen and Lorenz have been the rotation since the absence of Vichy, and both added something to that game at Stanford. Just an injection of energy. Of course, we've already touched on Batil Hansen and the pickoff leading to that first goal, but look for those two substitutes to add something on the energy side for this Carolina team, as this game's been a little slow on the Carolina side, especially in possession. See if they can be a little bit more dynamic and sort of go at Boston College here.
So Max Andrews on the restart. Gundelach. Glendon. Thomas Bally, nice touch by Charles. Out to Johnson. Lawrence. Not turned over. Jack's able to maintain possession. Over 1-2. Hansen maintains his feet. Gets a cross off. Nobody back post, but Johnson's going to get there. Drive it low. Finds the arm decline. Johnson, the freshman from Tampa. His first goal of the season against College of Charleston. He started all 14 games. Very veteran team. For him to come in and carve out that left back spot. Impressive for the freshman.
But he's that type of left back that Carlos Samano just loves. So comfortable with the ball at his feet, not only in getting forward, but in running at you.
There's a turnover. Williams in a little bit of space. He'll drive it low. Klein is there. Turnover in a dangerous part of the field. Does not hurt, though. Charles. Gosta to Williams into Harper. Get it out to Johnson. Crowded out. Sorry with the ball. How much, if at all, when you were at UVA, and again, you won a national championship there, so you were in those conversations for seeding top 4, top 8, top 16, getting the bye, all these different things going on. How much, if at all, did you talk about that as two different things? George Galnavach ever bring it up? And secondarily, how often did the players talk about it?
Yes, and yes. It certainly was talked about a lot, especially when you get to this point in the season. Because you're very leggy. It's been a long season. It's a condensed college soccer season. And the ability to not leave home is so massive. Now, for the ACC tournament, that's what you're talking about. For the NCAA tournament, perhaps the most important are those top 16 seeds, because you don't have to play twice on that opening weekend. You get a little bit more rest time, a little bit more time in the training room to get your body right, and then can go at a 5-game stretch instead of a 6-game stretch. It's a massive advantage, and it certainly is talked about within the locker room.
Pitt has that advantage, at least it looks like it'll be that way for the ACC tournament. The #1 team, regular season champs. Pitt can clinch that outright with a win, a draw, or a Clemson loss. Clemson's currently drawn now, as we mentioned, 2-2 for Virginia Tech. As Johnson comes forward here, rides a challenge. And then get off the cross, floats it back post. Nobody home. Lorenz off his head. Back to Williams. But I thought it was interesting talking to Carlos Samano today. They don't address it at all. So I always think different coaches with different perspectives and how they talk about things. He said, well, it doesn't help us win a game today, so we're not focused on it. This team needs to be focused. This is his thing with this team. He feels this team needs to be focused on these 90 minutes all the time. And that was an interesting insight, although a veteran team, that really they got to be locked in to perform at their optimal level as Lawrence is offside.
Well, certainly Carlos Samano is a veteran coach. He knows his guys. He knows what works for them. I don't doubt that he's not talking to them about it, and he's only talking one game at a time. I'm just telling you that every player on North Carolina is looking at the RPI multiple times a week and thinking, what about this? What about that? It's just human nature.
Yeah, of course, exactly. Especially in today's world where it literally is, I could be sitting in econ class and be like, where are the RBI? You know, let's pull it up my pocket and let's check it out. So, without a doubt, players like to always look at that.
Carlos Somato's trying to look at the micro, and his team's looking at the macro.
Of course, yeah. We can get ahead of ourselves as players. That happens. Alongside Patty Foss, I'm Dallin Cuff. Patty, national champ at UVA 2014.
That's right.
Burkhart can't control it. Nice job by Sorry to get a foot on it. Nice play to DeSantos. Pokes it through.
After.
And we did talk about #1 overall seed. Well, Pitt is currently down to Syracuse 1-0. Christian Fortier goal. It's Basie. BC charges forward here. A little bit of ping pong. So we'll keep you updated on all these games, but that Pitt result obviously is important. There's a wrestling match in the middle of the box here. No call. Bounces around. Pops out to Andrews. DeSantos. Good step by Johnson. The Pitt's game is at halftime. If that result holds, though, they can still clinch that spot, because Clemson's going to need all 3 points to catch him.
Well, if you know one thing about Clemson, it's that they can score and score in bunches. So,
yeah, no doubt about that.
So it's only 4 or 5 minutes left in that game, but certainly it's not over.
Andrews flips it in. Williams able to control it. Try to break out for the heels. Check. He sends him running. Good first touch out in front. Back to Acosta. Out to Lawrence. Johnson. Whipped in, skips through. First time shot. Oh, just wide. Check. Wow.
Well, without a doubt, Tate Johnson has been the most active and most effective player here in the opening half. This time, he gets wide and a good ball across the box, finding its way all the way to that back post. Ultimately, though, just can't wrap his left foot around to find that far post. But Tate Johnson, we've seen him come inside. Now we've seen him go outside. He's just asking a ton of questions of Boston College, and you get the feeling if Carolina is going to find a goal here in the final 14 minutes of this first half, it's going to come down that left-hand side.
He's been super dangerous and really impressive. See where he's ranked in the recruiting class, but it doesn't matter what you ranked in the recruiting class. It matters what you do in the college ranks once you get here. And he has been outstanding this season. Ball played in, deflected, and it'll find its way to Klein's hands. As Klein walks it out, we'll tell you about the football weekend, American football weekend. Week 10 on the ACC Network begins tomorrow noon Eastern. Stanford taking on North Carolina State. Then Florida State host North Carolina. Will cap the night. Huge game. Matchup between number 18 Pitt, number 20 SMU at 8 o'clock. Both undefeated currently. Each game available in the ESPN app, so you can watch anywhere. What's important about their schedules, too, Clemson will have to go at Pitt on November 16th. SMU, newbies to the league, do not play Clemson or Miami, the other two undefeateds in the league, and could have an open, let's say, control their own opportunity to play in Charlotte in early December with a chance to go to the CFP.
Homecoming game down there
that's
at
going to be
both banged up quarterbacks coming back into the fold. Should be a massive one on the ACC Network.
Great game, 8 o'clock on the ACC Network. Johnson striding forward. Touch to Williams as he tried to usher it on. Did not work. Sorry, read it. Eklund. Pacey freshman. Foot race with Riley Thomas now. Pushed out a little too far in front. Cortez just blasted into the Chapel Hill Knight. Williams tracking back. Charles chest is down. Over to Williams. Out to Lawrence. Excuse me, Hansen. Check. Check. Just wide. Not breaking the action. BC will put their first sub into the match. Killeen. He's waiting. We're waiting. Killeen going to replace Burkhart in the middle of the pitch. Redshirt sophomore from California. Grew up in the LA Galaxy Academy. Transfer from Cal State Fullerton. And Leo Guarino, the transfer from Wake Forest. Logged 51 games for the Demon Deacons, scored 10 goals. Transferring closer to home. New York City FC Academy product. Grew up in East Rockaway, Queens. Making his 16th appearance of the season. Started most of the season, but with this tactical change, he was the casualty, if you will, from that.
Well, it's a tough game to come into, especially as we talked about. Boston College has done so well through the first half hour in not only keeping Carolina at bay, but having some of the ball themselves. So especially for Killeen coming to that central midfield, important. Get some of those early touches, connects a few simple passes, and starts to build into the tempo of this game.
How long did it take you to pick up the pace of a game like this?
At least 5 to 10 minutes. I mean, this is a tricky game to come into because Carolina does play at a very quick tempo, and you know you're not going to have the ball for a lot of the time. So this is among the trickiest types of games to be inserted into.
Santos, the sophomore, comes forward past wayward, though. Get you updated on the ACC Huddle action. That begins 11 a.m. Eastern tomorrow. The Huddle crew will get you ready for the day at Gerald Ford Stadium at SMU in Dallas. 60-minute pregame show leading into Stanford, NC State at noon. Also have halftime shows, pre- and post-game shows throughout the day. Then they're back at 6:30 to wrap up the afternoon with highlights and analysis and get you set for that huge matchup we talked about. Pitt at SMU, 8 o'clock. After the game, stay right here on ACC Network for a full post-game wrap-up. Get to the business end of the season in the college football world as well. On Tuesday, there's a little election going on. But other than that, there is the first CFP rankings will be released. That'll be a welcome respite around the middle of the night, prime time to enjoy that and see where the committee values different teams.
Yeah, because there's never any bickering around the CFP reveal.
You're right. We need more argument on Tuesday. That's what we need. Oh boy. We'll change topics before I lose my job. All right, Sam Williams take the corner. Third corner of the match, and as you mentioned, last two dangerous balls played in. High ball. Thomas able to keep it in there. Back to Acosta. Lawrence dispossessed. Guarino on it. He's crafty with the ball. You're seeing it now. What a run. He's going to get it out to DeSantis. Great job by Guarino. Santos trying to cut it in the left foot. Does, blocked by Johnson. Andrews has bodies in the box. First time ball. Dangerous. Cool as you like, Parker O'Farrell cleared it out.
A little bit of sneaky skill there from Leo Guarino through that Boston College midfield. And just like Boston College continuing to build into this match, you get the feeling that while they've only had half chances thus far, one's coming, and potentially here, could they sneak a goal in the last 8 minutes of this half would be massive heading into halftime.
Well, Boy gets ready for the long throw. Flicked on, that's dangerous, and just out of the reach of Guarino, and Gundelach was lurking there. Behar. Killeen. Boy was looking for a body. Dos Santos spun and made the run. They don't connect. Dos Santos on Harper, the center back. Now comes some help. Goal kick. Well done by Harper. All right, so Clemson and Virginia Tech have now gone final. The first game in the books of the final day of the regular season. So Virginia Tech couldn't hold that 2-0 advantage. They lose that. Heartbreaking for the Hokies. Really good for Pitt, though. With that draw with Clemson now, Pitt is guaranteed to be the regular season champ. They get the #1 spot. They have a bye to the quarterfinals, which will be on Sunday, November 10th in the ACC tournament. Virginia Tech waiting to see how everything shakes out. If they can steal a top 8 seed, somehow host. We'll find out. Clemson locked into a home game, but as we mentioned, Joseph Van Dama reportedly was injured in that match. We hope the best for him, and it's not too serious, but losing your keeper, a national championship winning keeper, an ACC champion winning keeper right before the tournament starts is pretty heartbreaking.
Well, it's tough to see, especially for a team that relies so heavily on attacking unit. So if there are question marks in Clemson, it's on the defensive side. Now you're going to insert a new goalkeeper heading into the postseason. Certainly tricky. If anyone can take care of it, though, perhaps it's the Clemson Tigers.
Yeah.
On the flip side, for Virginia Tech, that was the result you get a feeling for Mike Brisbane. They needed that one to sneak back into the conversation on that bubble. Certainly they'll have an opportunity first round of the ACC, but that seems like an opportunity missed.
No doubt. Sam Williams stretching forward now. Nice reverse pass to Johnson. He'll take a touch, drive it low. Nobody there. We will run through at halftime what the bracket will look like as of right that moment at halftime here in our game, and take you through some of the matchups, some of the favorites, and Patty's eyes, as well as a dark horse to look at. We'll also go through all the bubble scenarios, and who's a lock, who's got good resumes maybe for a top 16 seed. Again, the committee did release their respective top 16 a couple weeks back. A lot has happened since then, so again, that top 16 seed gets a bye in the first round of the NCAA tournament and at least one home game. Lean out to Williams. Pop it out to Andrews. Gets to Eklund. Nice ball to Santos. That's inside. What a tackle. In the area. Bold, huh?
Well, you have to time that one impeccably if you're going to go to ground there, and certainly Charlie Harper does. Interestingly enough, though, Marco Dos Santos pops up asking for a video review. I'm not sure what you're going to review here.
Review of what?
That is a tremendous tackle. I will say, though, Down, that's a 10, 12, 14 pass build, finding a player in a dangerous space for Boston College. The Eagles are looking the part here in this first half.
They are, no doubt about it. Ball against Toro. I will say, looking for a penalty there from a basketball guy. We used to say cookies. A clean rip. Cookies! Like, that's what that was. So there is no review, sir.
Haven't got our fourth official, David McFun, involved in the action yet. So
he's probably
we'll
had
see him on that one.
He doesn't want it to be fun. He wants to hang out on the sidelines, uneventful, no reviews, but he may be asked to participate. Hansen shrugs off the challenge. Pass picked off, though, by Guarino. Santos, but the band has just arrived. You may be able to hear him in the background here. Starting to jam out a little bit. A lot happening here. There's a volleyball game just behind us at the Carmichael. Clemson Tigers in town to take on Tar Heel ladies. start November here. All the sports converging at once. The fall championships, the winter sports starting on Monday. Toro's down heat. That is not good. He's still down, holding his shoulder. Play on, though. Sean Clark, the referee, checking, and he's going to let it play on because now the Eagles are in possession. He's going to stop it, I believe, now. Whistles in the air. There we go. Toro's down. The freshman from Revere, Massachusetts. 10th start of the season.
It's just an awkward fall there for Brian Toro. Just immediately, though, clutching that shoulder area. And uses that arm to be helped
I was going to say, it may not hurt that
Yeah,
bad if you're able to do that. Those of us that have separated a shoulder or two. The freshman is up, ready to go again. You want to show your Halloween costume with this downtime?
I passed on the Halloween, though. I will say my daughter was a flower.
Oh.
Yeah,
What type of flower were we here?
It was kind of a generic flower, but it turned out looking a little Demogorgon-y, you know, from Stranger Things. You know.
Oh, yeah.
It was kind of a combo mix, so it was up to interpretation. It was an abstract costume.
Okay. Did she make it? Was it made out of paper mache?
It was made, but it was
Okay.
Grandma.
Grandma made it. Good job, Grandma. Sam Williams head up on the ball. Jamison Charles pass out to O'Farrell. Hanson gets there. Does he? No, he doesn't. For a game, again, both teams desperately need. Carolina, it's a game you can't lose. BC, it's a game you have to win if you want to find a way to put together a magical run. BC seemed to have the better of the game here through 44 minutes.
Unquestionably. I mean, this is not really the game that we expected. We knew Boston College was quality and that they could play with Carolina. See a decent ball in the box there from Tate Johnson. But we thought Carolina was going to be able to push Boston College back. And to be fair, even Boston College thought that. That's why they lined up the way they did tactically. It's kind of been the opposite effect in that the 5 in midfield for Boston College has caused some issues for Carolina in their spacing defensively. Boston College has been able to play through the midfield and find spaces and sort of go at Carolina a bit. We've only seen half chances on either side, but if you're Boston College, the confidence is building throughout this first half, and there's a lot of positives going at halftime.
No doubt about it. They got to close out the next 21 seconds as Lorenz comes forward, lays it up to Check. Check. Flips it back. Lorenzi will cross it over, dinks it forward. Klein gets a hand to it. That was big. That would have been a heartbreaking way to end a solid first half for Bob Thompson's crew. But Brendan Klein, he is hyped. He is amped, yelling at his back line, but also made a huge play to keep it 0-0 at the break.
Well, he's hyped up, and as he should be. This is a point-blank save in the end on Tate Lorenz from 3 yards away. He does so well not to lean, to stay big, to make himself huge in his frame, and then to find that left palm on it to keep this game scoreless and keep the hope alive for Boston College heading into the locker room.
For the Boston fans, it looks like Tim Thomas. That was like a glove save and a beauty. Great job by the redshirt senior to keep this thing 0-0. All right, we're going to catch our breath. We're going to step away.
But offensively, it's doing a number on North Carolina in the midfield, because that extra player in midfield has really opened up a lot of different spaces for Boston College to play through it. They're finding pockets of space really well, playing side to side, and on a number of occasions have gotten the ball into Marco DeSantos in particular, and he's been able to run at North Carolina. So certainly all to play for here in the next 45.
Sean Clark, the center official, blows his whistle. Second 45. The final 45 of the regular season for both North Carolina and Boston College. We'll keep you updated on those other games that are in the second half around the league and how that affects the standings, which in turn affects the ACC tournament bracket, which starts on Wednesday, November 6th. We will get it going. Pitt is locked into the #1 spot as the regular season champs. They are currently losing to Syracuse, but by the virtue of Clemson's draw earlier with Virginia Tech, Pitt clinches that regular season title in the top spot. They get a bye to the quarterfinals. Everybody else is playing on Wednesday, November 6th. Tate Lorenz brings it down, back to Andrew Check. Out wide to Parker O'Farrell. Farrell was able to maintain possession back to Riley Thomas. Tate Johnson getting forward as he always does from his left back spot. Check it, a good pocket of space. He'll give it a hit to the breadbasket of Klein.
Well, he talked about Tate Johnson time of the game. He was so active in that first half. Now the opening seconds of this second, just as active, taking the ball very, very concise in his run, finding check in the end, and a good effort on goal. Look for more of that, though, from the freshman left back. Can he be a spark plug in the attack and find a way to get UNC that opening chance?
Behar. BC maintained the same group. They finished the second half with the exception of number 11, Xavier O'Neal, inserted the match for Marco DeSantos, sophomore from Virginia. North Carolina goes back to the starters, with the exception of Tate Lawrence staying in the match. They only made 2 subs in the first half. Brian Toro coming forward. So what does North Carolina do? You mentioned the midfield situation with BC. What does North Carolina need to do to kind of turn the tide of this and get things going more in their favor?
I think when we've seen North Carolina at their best, it's when they pick their moments to press the opposing side and are able to put them under.
Behar finds the feet of Guarino, but it was just popped out by Thomas. Riley Thomas over to Charlie Harper. Maybe the best center back pairing in the conference. There's a lot of goals going in an SMU Louisville game right now. It is a 3-2 game. SMU leading as Tate Johnson comes forward. Gage Guerra equalized for the Cards, and then 41 seconds later, Nikola Djordjevic gives the lead back to the Mustangs, who are battling to ensure that they play a first-round home game in the ACC tournament, which would be big to send an opponent down to Dallas. Louisville is guaranteed to be in a road game situation in the ACC tournament, regardless of the outcome of that game. Boy. Killeen. Excuse me, that's Andrews, pardon me. Andrews, the transfer from Army, was 2022 Patriot League Rookie of the Year in that conference. CJ Williams. Behar up to Guarino. Earns a corner. First of the match for the Eagles.
It's interesting to see Ass Eklund going over to take this corner 6'3" frame. You'd think the big man wants to be in the box, be the target, but nonetheless headed over to take the corner.
Well, him and Guarino are talking about it
I might have just talked him out of it.
Yeah, he did. He's listen. That's the reverse broadcaster jinx.
There you go.
Usually you say that he's a great free throw shooter. He misses a free throw. Now you're changing corner takers. Eklund goes to the back post. A lot of gold shirts out there. Guarino floats it back post. He gets the Toro. Toro, good challenge apparently by Lawrence. That was big. Whoa. Matthew Acostas. Whirling dervish. An update from Central New York. Syracuse now up 2-0 on Pitt. Now they are out of the picture, looking in, if you will, for the NCAA tournament. As hold on, Luke Hilliard might have a chance here with CJ Williams. Played back to Klein, cleared out. They're in a similar situation to BC, if you will. Their RPI is in the 70s, but you beat the #1 team in the RPI. You have a chance to move up. no doubt you'll move up, and then you play some ACC games. Who knows what could happen with that very young Q's team for Ian McIntyre. Any concern with Pitt? I mean, they lost 2 games at home in October. This would be the 3rd loss, and I believe 5 games. Anywhere?
Yeah, a little. I mean, it's not the time you want
folks,
to.
He just looked at me like, yeah, idiot. That's not good.
I mean, certainly, we just talked about at halftime how deep that team is, that they're likely the most complete team in the league, perhaps the country. But the game's about winning the games in front of you, and they're just not doing that. Kind of like Stanford as we head towards the end of the season. Certainly not the way you want to be trending. On the flip side, though, you talk about Ian McIntyre and his group. That's a coach that has national championships on his resume in recent history. A team that's sitting at 61 in the RPI. You get a result against a #1 RPI, they're going to jolt up those rankings, and suddenly they're another team that's sitting squarely on the bubble and could perhaps sneak their way in if they can get another result in the opening round of the ACC tournament.
Yeah, that would be huge for them. They would probably they're going to still play a game on the road, even with this win. But to your point, they're going to have a chance to get another win. Check cuts it back. Can't control it. Andrews gets rid of it. Back to Johnson. Tries to switch it to Hilly and does. Goes past telegraphed. Ricochets to Williams and Johnson on it now. He drives it for the 4th corner of the match, pardon me. We say it all the time. This is the gift and the curse of that league. If your RPI is struggling, you have nothing but opportunities ahead of you to win games against really, really good teams.
Right, and we're talking about teams at the basement of this league in Boston College and Louisville, and you can see the sub in the match there.
And this is no news to say the least. Martin Vician just checked in, the 2nd leading goal scorer in the league. He's missed the last 2 games due to injury. They thought the injury was worse than it was. Great to see him out there and able to play. This would be a heck of an intro if he comes in here and scores. Dinks through, and he was close to being there. Driven back post, headed on.
But how about Martin Vician down? This is a guy that we saw 2 weeks ago in a walking boot. Back inserted into the lineup here and back on the pitch here at Dorrance Field. You got to have huge kudos to that sports medicine staff here at Carolina.
Misspoke, 2nd in goals per game, 3rd in overall goals. It is great news for people that love their Tar Heel blue to see him out there. Now Sam Williams will take the corner again. Outswinging ball, low, driven in. Still loose, headed down. Bounced around off the bar. Shot Acosta off the chest. Appeals by UNC players for, I don't know if they want a handball, but there's a lot of yelling going on in there. And foul there on Johnson. Now again, things can be reviewed. A handball potentially in the box if that's what the complaints were, if it crossed the line.
And you see here, Brendan Klein come for that ball. If you're going to come as the goalkeeper inside your 6-yard box, you have to get there. That's a good strike again on frame, and certainly for me, those are tucked arms from Max Andrews and not a penalty for me.
Let's take a look here. Oh, that's off a back of a BC play. And that's Vician right there on the doorstep.
Right, it's Colleen there, and he kind of leans into it with his shoulder. I'm not sure you necessarily need to do that, but with the hands inside the body, you're never going to get that call.
Great officiating by Rashawn Clark. He was on it all the way. No need for a review. Let's keep playing, boys. And great job by BC to keep it out of the back of the net and keep this thing at 0-0. Williams and Johnson stand over it. And Guarino's going to take a yellow for BC. Williams to play it in. Vician close by. Costa again with a volley. Okay.
You see just the tail end of that play, helter-skelter play pops out here, and Leo Guarino just a clumsy challenge there coming in late on Tate Johnson, and certainly a deserved yellow card.
So Guarino, first player in the book in this match. finally finds his way to the deck, and Toro controls, and they get it to Colleen. North Carolina had 5 shots altogether in the first half. They've got 5 shots on that last possession in the 18. Switch picked off by Williams. Tried to play it quick to the channel to Hilly. But Boyle win that race and then let's usher it out well.
And this is a moment here where I feel like if you're Carlos Samwana, you got to start to ask your team to see if you can start to press, to lock Boston College in. We've seen it in the opening 10 minutes now of the half. It's been a little disjointed in that the front 3 have pressed Boston College deep, but the back 7 are dropping off. And so there's this space in midfield that Boston College has played through really in the opening 55 minutes of this game. But that's how they're playing out the back. And so you got to be all in on the press or all out on the press. But the sort of in between for North Carolina is allowing Boston College to feel their way into this game.
Charles hooks it forward. O'Neal. May have drawn a foul. He did. Well done by the sophomore from Virginia. It's 2022 ACC, should be 2023 ACC all-freshman team.
Now, this is a really dangerous spot for a free kick because there's a lot you can do with it. You're going to want to whip a ball in, see if you can get it to skip right in front of that 6-yard box so that not only do you have the opportunity to perhaps poke one home, but if no one touches this ball, skips to the back post, and you can kind of catch Andrew Cortez in this no man's land.
See what they do here. A lot of bodies around the penalty spot. Toro and O'Neal on it. Toro to take it. And now just go out. Big time on the sports calendar. Got the ACC championships starting next week. We also have basketball is back. Season tips off Monday. We have you covered triple header right here on ACC Network and the ESPN app. Number 6 Notre Dame women start us off 5 Eastern. They're must-see TV. Hannah Hidalgo, Olivia Miles, maybe the best backcourt in the nation. They take on Mercyhurst. Then a men's doubleheader. Talk about must-see TV. Cooper Flagg, the number 1 player, freshman in the nation, the soon-to-be number 1 draft pick in the NBA next June. There's no doubt about it. He is now playing for Duke, the number 7 ranked team in the nation. He's playing his home state school in Maine. And we cap the night off. Number 9 Tar Heels hosting Elon. Nothing but net crew will have all the highlights and analysis 11 Eastern. Great way to tip off the season. The Tar Heels have R.J. Davis back, first-team All-American. It's going to be a great season when college basketball starts Monday. Back to the soccer. Sam Williams in space. Rolls it forward. Driven. Save. Still loose. Again, BC under some pressure. O'Farrell finds Charles. Up to Johnson. 3 blue jerseys in the box. Had it out nicely. Taking a look. Now, North Carolina has really turned the screws in this second half.
Well, they have, and what they've done, which is new in the second half, we didn't see in the first, is get in really good spots in and around the box, but finding these little slips in behind. This is a tremendous slip to find the feet in the end of Andrew Check, and then yet again, Brendan Klein does so well, not only to cut down the angle, but to make his body big and to come up with that big left hand.
That is a huge save, and that's the second time we've seen that big left paw make a save to keep this thing locked at zeros. He's got 5 saves on the game, Klein does, and a couple big ones. As there was a sub here for BC in the break. Marcos dos Santos came back in the game for Xavier O'Neal. Farrell's pass picked off. Marino able to maintain possession through the foul. Big news from Raleigh, just down the street here. Wake Forest up 1-0 through a Bassett Umar goal over NC State. We'll come back to that in a second as the Heels are charging forward. Hilly, sky ball. Wolfpack transfer could not keep it down.
Well, we told you a couple of times now, North Carolina's at their best when they can press you and get really dangerous takeaways. Here you find Vitchian able to collect this ball and then just slip one right into the path of Luke Hilly. That is one that the senior forward is going to want back, one that he does not miss often, but just skies that one over the bar.
Back in the game, those guys causing the turnover, but Hilly's not going to love watching that on film. He has scored a goal in 2 of the last 3 games. He had the second goal in their win against Stanford. But there could not keep it down and on frame. 7 goals on the campaign. Back to that Wake result. This is a team that we just said they're on the outside looking in. If they win on the road at NC State in the high 40s RPI they had, that thing's coming down significantly potentially.
That result would likely have them in the field at the end of tonight. Now, the issue there is you still have to play a game in the ACC tournament regardless. But for Bobby Muse and his staff, certainly we talk a lot about Bobby Muse and what a quality coach he is, maybe the best in college soccer. But if they could get that Demon Deacons team into the tournament with all the injuries that they've had this fall, that might be one of his best jobs ever.
He's been in the tournament every year. He's been at the helm there. There's a program, I believe it's 13 straight tournaments. That's most of the country. But they have almost like a first team level of guys hurt. I mean, the injuries last week was, I think, 6 or 7 deep of guys would all be starters that are injured, some out for the year. So it has been a mass unit there, but they've made it work. They're talented enough, and if they get that win, they're also going to be in the top 6 of the ACC standings. That's going to get you an ACC home game, as we mentioned in the tournament, chance to win a game at Spry. They're very tough to beat there. Those guys are down, but they are far from out here. Sean Clark says we'll foul on the play and go to BC. That's if they can hold on. It's 1-0 with still got about 12 minutes to play there in Dahl Soccer Complex. Are you picking up the bell tower?
I hear the
Do you
bell.
hear the iconic bell tower?
The bell tolls for a goal in this game, I think.
I hope it tolls for thee, or for us, I should say. Across to the bottom of the hour here on ACC Network alongside Patty Foss, former national champion at UVA. I'm Dallin Cuff. 0-0, but it's been eventful, especially in the second half. North Carolina 7 shots to 0 over BC. A BC team that seemed like they had the better to play in the first 45. You know, the last 18 minutes here, 17 minutes here or so have been really the home team, as Rashawn Clark now is adjudicating a little issue off the ball. And you got Marco DeSantos down, and Tate Johnson and DeSantos exchanging words. Chris Zerner, the far side AR, blew the whistle, got Rashawn Clark involved. You see the far left side of your screen, just a little tussle.
A little pull from the freshman. I'm not sure there's a ton there.
You see the left part of your screen there, and it seems like DeSantos made the most of that.
I would tend to agree, although I have to also say we're hard on referees a lot. This has been a really well-refereed game from Rashawn Clark. He's kept the game moving. We haven't gone to unnecessary reviews, and he's really kept a lot of emotion in check here tonight.
He's done a great job, and there's been, I think that having additional review in this game in college soccer has been good. It's headed down. But when you use it too judiciously and we stop the game every 8 minutes, we've got a problem. So I think he's done a great job of trusting his eyes. He's been right in those decisions that were high leverage situations. And we move on with our game here as Johnson now tries to ride the challenge. And an update from down in Durham, all 3 of the teams in the triangle playing at home here. Duke up 3-0. Adam Luckhurst scored on a PK. So Notre Dame that needed a win to feel good in the low 30s, the RPI currently. They're going to take a 3-0 L, and it gets worse. KK Bafford took a red card. So your starting left midfielder is now on a red card going into the ACC tournament, will be suspended. So that's not good.
Notre Dame needed a result. But even if you're not going to get a result, you can't take a 3-0 L, because the committee is going to look at that and say, you know, a team that's not trending the right way. But a lot to play for in the ACC tournament, certainly, but that is not a good result for Chad Riley, and one he'll be disappointed with, certainly.
And this is a team, again, returning so many players from the national runner-up last year. Guarino, he goes down, and Acosta may be going into the book. And he is.
Well, Guarino does really well here to take his first touch across his body, put his body in between himself and Matthew Acosta, and then just take the contact. This is a really dangerous area for a free kick, an opportunity, perhaps the first opportunity of the game on goal for Boston College. Leo Guarino does really well in winning the free kick. Now, if you're Ass Ekelin, can you put this one on frame? We saw against Stanford, or excuse me, in their last game against Notre Dame in the ACC, won just over the bar to finish that game. He's very dangerous from these areas. Look for him to get this up and over the wall, see if he can test Andrew Cordes at that near post.
Transfer from Duquesne, Norwegian-born, one of the best forwards in the ACC in the entire country. 8 goals in the campaign. If he made it 9, it would be a massive one. On the road here in Carolina. Andrew Cordes organizes his wall. Here we go. Ekelin just as we've talked about already all game long, the fall seasons roll on, and we got championship season upon us. 3 more ACC championships for you here on ACC Network and the ESPN app. Women's soccer first round. It's underway Sunday. Virginia Tech takes on UNC at 6, and then Notre Dame takes on FSU, the reigning ACC and NCAA champs, the Noles, at 8 o'clock Eastern here on the network. The field hockey quarterfinals begin Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eastern, and the men's soccer first round starts Wednesday at 6 and 8. ACC Network is the home of the ACC championships. And, of course, those games on Wednesday night at 6 and 8 o'clock will be determined by the end of the day today. And, of course, because the league is, so we got an opportunity going forward here for BC. The league is bi-coastal. We will not know until about midnight Eastern as Cal and Stanford kick off at 10 o'clock Pacific time. Excuse me, 10 o'clock Eastern time. So we'll know the final standings, and then we'll get the matchups set for the tournament, who will be the TV games on 6 and 8 o'clock on Wednesday.
There we talk about the men's side and how deep the league is and the matchups in the tournament, but those women's games on Sunday are going to be very quality. It's a Virginia Tech team, Chugger Adair, 2 top 10 wins in the month of October. Then you have a Notre Dame team going to Florida State. Florida State, obviously, the champs of it all. And a Notre Dame freshman, Izzy Engel, 15 goals this year. So tremendous matchups in the ACC tournament on the women's side to go along with the men's side. Must-see TV all month long on the ACC network.
No, and look, you're a company guy, but also very much not a selfish guy. You're calling one of the games. You didn't mention the self-promotion piece. So which game are you on with the women's games?
I got to keep people engaged. I don't want to tell them if I'm going to be on there. I need viewers. I'm on that first game, Virginia Tech at Carolina. So it'll be a Chapel Hill weekend all weekend for me.
There you go. More Patty Foss coming your way here on Sunday. And a little bit of a tussle with Vichian and Toro. Leads to a free kick for the Heels.
Hey, someone's got to get in line. Turn, watch short.
Center back striding forward. Charlie Harper getting up into the box.
Step left.
Johnson plays it short to Williams up the channel. Oh, check it, a little bit of space. Good deflection, right up the training ground. Good execution. 6th corner of the match for the Heels. Williams to take it. Low ball driven in. Johnson's able to keep it in play. Harper is going to go down. That's on the edge of the box. Tough one there.
I'm sure we'll get a look back at it. I think it's more clumsy than anything. It's likely a foul here as you see Charlie Harper is back to goal, and just lining it up is Christian Behar. Certainly catches the heel of Charlie Harper. That's a correct call, if a little bit unfortunate there for Behar.
So dangerous spot for the Heels as Harper walks it off. junior from Melbourne, Australia. Grew up in academies in Tokyo. Has 3 different passports he holds, citizenships from Australia, Japan, and England. He's still limping around, but you think they're going to put this on goal here?
They better. I mean, 22 yards out, you're looking for that opening goal. This has to go on frame. You have to test Brendan Klein from this distance.
So you've got Luke Hilly and Sam Williams standing over it. Might be Hilly the right footer. It is. Short run up. No.
Well, now we've seen quality free kick chances on both ends with Eklund up for Boston College and Hilly for North Carolina. Both wasteful and not really even testing the goalkeeper with 2 really quality chances. All right.
Kids eating pizza and drinking 2 liters of Coke. Friday night, baby.
Didn't get enough sugar last night for the Halloween haul.
I just putting that right into their veins over there. Just blood it up.
It's tournament time.
Quick restart now that Rashawn Clark's going to pull it back. 2 balls on the pitch. There's our guy. He's got a little Barcelona jersey celebrating their win over Real Madrid last weekend with a 2-liter. And some cheese, maybe some pepperoni. Riley floats it out to Johnson. His pass picked off. Okay, let's get you caught up around the league here now. So first and foremost, you've got Pitt losing to Syracuse now. That's confirmed. A 2-0 loss. Nathan Scott had the 2nd goal. Now that doesn't affect the standings as Clemson drew behind them. Pitt is still the #1 seed. They're still the regular season champs. And they will have the bye in the first round of the ACC tournament into the quarterfinals. The other result, Duke now is final 4-0 over Notre Dame. They went down a man and KK back 4 late in the game, the Irish did, and that is a tough loss for that team that was in need of a win over a high RPI team in Duke. So the standings are starting to shake out here. We're starting to see where the movement is. The big winner today, honestly, may have been Stanford, who has yet to play, and with everybody losing, these teams losing in front of them, or drawing, you're in a better spot to have a better seed.
Well, it sure seems that way going into what will be a huge contest on the West Coast. You see perhaps a little bit of cramping there from C.J. Williams. The one team we haven't talked about tonight, though, is Duke.
Yeah,
that's a Duke team, top five in the RPI. That's a very convincing team against a convincing win against a quality Notre Dame team. They're another club that's really looking for one of those top 4 seeds in the NCAA tournament and looking like they are that quality.
And you see where they now rank. Duke is 3rd in the live standings. These are current as of this moment. So North Carolina could still hop them with a win if they can pull out a win here against BC. Clemson and Pitt are in the books, as is SMU in the books. Wake Forest is done. Stanford's still yet to play, so they could get on to 15 points and then go into the tiebreakers with Duke, the tiebreaker scenarios with Duke.
We talked about Carolina and their ability to stay home. Duke, same thing. They're now going to stay home throughout the ACC tournament, however long it is. They're going to play in the triangle. That's such a massive advantage for John Kerr and his team.
So Jack Burkhart just checked in the match. So he comes back in, as does Michael Asare. Sorry for Guarino. Ball played in. Williams headed down, loose, and just cleared out. Right before it was going to cross the line, Gundelach.
Well, it's a really good ball into the box here from Sam Williams. Yet again, off the set piece. It's well done to go in and win it from Charlie Harper, and then Moritz Gundelach, right place.
Acosta comes out to him. He curls it in, headed down again. Johnson back into the mixer. Johnson spinning out of some trouble, working with Williams. North Carolina playing. They played that corner fast. They played the throw in fast, picking up the tempo here. Williams pings it back to Harper. This looks more like the game we thought it was going to be in the first half, where Carolina's pinning them back.
Absolutely, and Boston College, for as good as they were in that opening 45 with the ball at their feet, we haven't really seen that in the second half. We haven't seen any stretch of possession for the Eagles. We haven't seen them able to play out through the back and get at Carolina at all. And you just start to get the sense that some heavy legs starting to set in on the Boston College side. Carolina starting to smell a little blood in the water and going at Boston College to see if they can find that opening goal.
10-1, North Carolina's outshot the Eagles in the second half. Late into the channel, looking for Hilly. He's got Beachin in the middle. Hilly lays it back to Williams. Out to Johnson. Beachin calling for it at the back post. Might have a chance. He does. A lot of bodies. He'll go out for a goal kick, and you've got Williams laying down again, and you've got another injured BC player down.
Well, yet again, it's Tate Johnson getting forward on that left-hand side. This is a tantalizing ball to the back post. Martin Vichin going up, trying to win it, and just coming down. Looks like Christian Behar, that he just gets the worst of that one. A big boy in Vichin falling straight on his back.
So you got Behar and Williams down right now. Williams is still dealing, trying to stretch, gets help stretching out. And Behar laying off the pitch. Every Carolina player is getting watered now. As either team has subbed a lot. I mean, BC has subbed really one player in the midfield, a couple attackers, and the same can be said for Carolina.
You see both Behar and C.J. Williams stretching out there. 17 minutes is a long way to go if you're starting to see those cramps or any of that fatigue set in. So something to watch here as we tick down towards the end of this game.
And if you're just joining us, you saw Martin Vichin making a play at the back post. Second leading scorer in goals per game in the conference, was injured, missed the last 2 games. As Patty said earlier in the broadcast, we saw him in a walking boot just about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. And to have him back on the pitch for Carolina, what does he add in terms of, we know he scores goals, but in terms of what they're capable of long term, what does he add?
Well, he's an elite level goal scorer, and I would argue that so is Luke Hilly. So now both of the pairing up top for Carolina, they have elite goal scoring, and that is so hard to come by really anywhere in college soccer. But if you're going to be a team that's looking at trying to win titles, you're going to have guys who can put the team on their back, have special moments, and score goals. Martin Vichin and Luke Hilly, both players capable of doing that. So it just makes this team all the more dynamic. He's big, he's athletic, he's a tough matchup for any back line.
Yeah, Vichin, a transfer from Harvard, Hilly, a transfer from NC State. Both those guys have been effective. Vichin was here last year for UNC. Great season, all league level player. Carlos Samuano working the sidelines, seeing his team have a much better second 45, and can they break the deadlock? Finish the regular season on a win, jump their rival, and get into that 3rd seed in the ACC tournament bracket, which starts on Wednesday. Williams driven in. They'll let it go for a corner. 8th of the match. Williams to take it. Swinging ball, headed back, line there.
That's a good ball whipped in here. trying to find the head of Luke Hilly in the end. Ultimately, Hilly going back, unable to get any sort of power on that header, but just seems that Carolina is starting to build it and asking questions, going forward, finding a lot of set pieces. You get the sense that a goal's coming in this one.
Great run by DeSantos. There's a lot of yellow gold jerseys up here driven in. Harper, great job tracking back. He was at the end line for the corner and come all the way back. Make a good interception. Junior center back. Started every game in his career, Charlie Harper. 38 for 38. DeSantos take it. Sorry, the good near post run. Couldn't get his head on it though. Charles maybe able to start a transition for the heels. He wheels around, slows it down. Costa tried to get a little cheeky, but didn't come off. Gundalock. Santos dispossessed. Good challenge by Harper. Sub coming in for UNC. Hilly will make way for Patil Hansen. Hansen, the freshman from Denmark, coming in. Scored against Stanford. His third goal of the campaign. Hilly's day is done. College soccer. Substitution rules different this year. When you leave in the second half, you cannot re-enter the match. Invician came in about 20 minutes ago. He's going to get nearly a full half of play, Patty.
But he looks good. He's moving well. He's really gotten out in space a few times in transition. So full go for the big man.
Yeah, apparently. They're still looking to get back Lucas Ross, the junior from New Jersey. Scored a couple goals earlier this year. Hopefully have him back for the ACC tournament. Clipped in. Getting healthy at the right time is pretty important. Williams. Over to Acosta. Lead for Johnson. He floats it, looking back post. Viccian tried to keep it in, and eventually the flag goes up and it was out. Last update from around the conference here. SMU has taken down Louisville 3-2. So with that win, a game-winning goal by Nikola Djordjevic, Kevin Hudson's crew will secure a home game in the ACC tournament in their first year in the conference. SMU making noise on both brands of football. The first year in the league. That big football game tomorrow night. Pitt and SMU, 8 o'clock here in ACC Network. Both teams unbeaten in league play. Sean Clarkson to the foul and Andrew Check pulls it back. I lied. Wake is final now too against NC State. That was already final. My fault. Tom Consempa, our great stats guy, keeping me honest here. 1-0, big win for Wake. That is, as we said, if they could hold on, they held on. That is potentially a game changer for their resume.
Well, it's massive for Wake Forest because it gives them a key win, and it's an NC State team that's 12 in the RPI. That's a massive result for Bobby Hughes, and it likely pushes his team to the right side of the bubble heading into the ACC tournament.
They were low 40s, but that's going to rise. Ball clipped in. Ekelin was there. But man, Charlie Harper always seems to be in the right spot at the right time. Gets his head to it first. Line. Pops it over to Burkhart, but then dispossessed. There was Killeen in the middle of the field. Charles. I'm looking down at these sheets with all these goals, Patty. The only scoreless game right now in the league. Johnson. trotting up and down that left flank.
You do have to say, for a 0-0 game, it's been fairly entertaining. It's been a high-quality, hugely technical matchup, and both teams have looked good for long stretches here. If there's a goal in this game, though, it tends to be trending towards Carolina. It's a bad giveaway there.
Bad giveaway, a chance maybe in transition. DeSantos on it. Charles trying to come and make amends for his mistake. 3 light blue jerseys surround him and dispossess him. As we cross under 10 minutes to play. Cut back, try to play it in.
Higher. Inside.
Charles
Get a shot, boys.
harried, almost turned it over, did not. Good step by Gundelach. Switch out. Johnson try to dink it over to Hansen. Out by Boy.
Follow. Behind you, Mike.
Beachian's pass short, picked off by DeSantos. Behar able to get it back to DeSantos, and Charles takes him down. That's cynical, and that's probably going to be a yellow.
Right, it's a good decision at that from Jamison Charles to go into the book, because it looked like Boston College had numbers, at least even strength numbers, running at that back line. It's a really good place to take a foul there from Jamison Charles.
Take a look at the card as a BC player went down. We'll get back to that in a second.
Really good first touch here from Marco DeSantos to take that ball across Jamison Charles and then just field that contact.
And Boy is struggling, and they're going to have some treatment come out for him.
Well, we've talked about the tactical switch from Boston College to go to those 3 center backs. Mark Boy is the center back that they've inserted, so not a traditional starter for this Boston College team. Has covered a lot of ground and maybe feeling a little bit of those effects.
Boy limping off slowly. We'll see if he can continue. To your point, it's only the 11th game played this year. He's not logged a ton of minutes.
There's just not a lot of depth. If you add a center back, you've already taken one off your depth chart, so there's not a ton of depth to insert into this game, as it looks like Killeen actually will drop into that back 3. But now we've seen C.J. Williams with a little bit of a knock and Mark Boy. So as this time ticks down the final 8 minutes, those legs heavy for this Boston College team.
And Jonathan Murphy, the senior from Monson, Mass, checked in. Product of the Revolution Academy. His 55th appearance here for this club, 14th of the season. Charles looking for Beachian. They will connect.
Backside Murph.
Out for a throw. Slow as a start as it was, Carolina now season high in shots, 17.
Right here. Hey.
Season high against an ACC opponent. Only had a handful of the break. Marco Farrell will take. Beachin goes down, foul called. Chance to serve the box again.
Carolina's best chances of the night have come from these set pieces. This is another one in a really quality spot. Look for this ball whipped in and see if you can find some of those big boys, Charlie Harper, Vichian, and see if you can perhaps get a chance on Frank.
Harper slowly walking forward across the 18. Brennan Clyde surveys the situation. Harper towards that back post. Vichian right near the penalty spot. Williams curls it in, headed down by Williams off of Vichian's body, maybe even his arm, but no call. Costa. Charles. Not the right decision.
That's just forced ball there. There's no reason to do that. You have Sam Williams dropped in that spot. Just play the easy ball, and then Sam Williams can be that connection to try to get him behind.
Flip forward, though. Farrell tries to return it. It doesn't work. Cross under 6 minutes here from Chapel Hill. Results hold, Carolina would be the 4th seed in the ACC tournament. BC would be the 14th. Now, that is with a caveat, because Stanford, if they beat Cal in that rivalry game later tonight, they could jump Carolina. So we will know where the final bracket is around midnight Eastern time.
Right. That's a massive shift, because if Stanford wins that game, they're the 4 seed. Let's say Carolina's the 5 seed. Both win their opening round games. Carolina's going to have to go to Palo Alto cross country on a short rest and try to get a result at Stanford.
Which you told me before the broadcast, you've had to do that before, where you didn't know was coming in a tournament scenario. How hard is that to do?
Extremely hard. It's a tough place to play. It's a tough place to get to, obviously, just pure distance-wise from Carolina. But that adds to your legs. You're at the end of a season in which we always talk about how condensed the college soccer season, how grueling it is from a physical standpoint. Now you're going to sit on a flight for 6 hours on short rest, try to get a result just to come back here for the semifinal.
Yeah, tough to say the least. Now BC striding forward. They have an opportunity. And cross kind of overcooked. Behar puts it back in a dangerous area. Saar. Santos just showed too much of the ball. Charles turns it over again. I won't make you tell what your experience was going to Stanford. We can leave that out there, folks. We're not here to dig up old wounds, folks.
Not a memory I want to relive. Beautiful campus.
The farm. Never been. Look forward to visiting. That control room set, folks. Let's get that thing rolling. Let the thing up and rolling, Stanford. Cordes with wayward clearance now. Under 4 minutes. Carolina's readying their final, well, I should say their final change. Another change. Cardenas comes in. Andreas Cardenas comes in for Charles, who's had a little issue maintaining possession recently. Cardenas, the senior from Florida, Fort Lauderdale. Charles now realizes his number was up. He sprints off the field. Santos trying to win the header. Oh, draws the foul. Farrell's like, what'd I do? You see, trying a quick restart. Looking for Ekelin, excuse me. Hasn't had many chances today. He'll drive it. Oh my goodness! What a shot from 35! Khalid breaks the deadlock and they give him all 3 points! The transfer of Cal State Fullerton. Holy moly! His first goal in an Eagle uniform, and it was unforgettable.
Well, we waited 87 minutes for this. You will not see a better goal in college soccer, perhaps in your line. That is just an absolute missile off the foot of Killeen. He just takes one touch, knows exactly what he wants to do, sets it up on that favored right foot, and smashes one upper 90 off the inside of the crossbar. Absolutely nothing Andrew Cordes could do, and perhaps a massive 3 points for Boston College here at Chapel Hill.
This is a BC team that has not won a league game all year, 0-4-3. They are dying to break through. They've lost all 4 of those games by a single goal. And then you see that moment and that elation from the team in the corner. And Bob Thompson, the alum of BC, couldn't be more proud of his team this year, he told us. And how about if they finish this thing with all 3 points?
I mean, I'm honestly speechless here, down watching how this played out. We talked to Bob Thompson during the week, and he told us, my team believes. Not many outside my team do believe, but they haven't given up hope. They've stuck to the plan. They've known who they are and what they're capable of. And that's been the story of this game as well. Boston College has taken their punches from Carolina. They've been extremely organized. They've had good stretches of possession. And now you get an absolute wonder goal from 35 yards. It's just an unforgettable moment here at Carolina. Now, there's a lot of soccer left to be played in these last 3 minutes, so let's not get ahead of ourselves, but that is just an absolutely sensational strike.
Wow. That would put them to 12th in the standings for BC in terms of the ACC tournament. Would drop Carolina to 6th, and then Stanford could leap them. Again, Carolina could end the night at 7th right now. It would be a worst-case scenario for them, but there is still time to play after that Killeen wonder strike. And so you got a long throw coming up here for Carolina, and that was decidedly against the run of play that went in. Wow. Able to clear it out. Some appeals for a foul in the box. So you see Johnson down. Comes up by the head and neck area. They stopped play immediately and he got treatment. See anything there? Clean.
It just looks like perhaps a little bit of a shoulder, but not much there for me.
And now Johnson wanted to come back on the field, but he cannot. He's got to walk off. Killeen, second team All Big West last year. Cal State Fullerton was part of the U.S. Youth National setup at different ages. You could see why with that goal. Holy moly. Farrell floats it back post. Beachy trying to hook it in. Hansom's fighting for it. Now BC's happy just to get rid of it. Acosta keeps it in. Sam Williams. Johnson goes down again. No call. Now it's about killing time for BC. Killeen will just play it forward in the corner, let some of his guys go chase it. Foul there. UNC will try to take it quick, and Sean Clarkson stopped the ball. Now Sam Williams is hobbling around. That is not what you want to see if you're Carlos Samwana. Third team all-league player. One of the best midfielders in the country. He's able to walk it off though. $1:33 left. Ball floated up toward Johnson. Out for a throw. Will there be more late drama here? Played out for a throw again. Well, we said Carolina has no bad losses all year. This would not be only one on their resume if you want a top 4 seed in the NCAA tournament. Long throw. Headed down. Played out wide to Williams. Picked by Murphy, and he sends it long. We are under 50 seconds to go. And Thomas cannot connect, and it is getting closer. The BC bench is on their feet, waiting all season for the breakthrough. It's a team that also did not win a league game last year. As you mentioned, Bob Thompson said, my team believes. His energy has been great, the positivity, The performances, the results have not been there, but they still believe, and if we can win this game, we can make a run in the tournament. Who knows what can happen? Well, he's proving prophetic. 16 seconds left.
Belief doesn't pay the bills, but I'll tell you what does. Results against a top 3 RPI team on the road in Chapel Hill, that'd be a massive result for this club.
Long throw, clock ticking down, flicked on again and again. They did it. Colleen, you will probably be on SportsCenter tonight. That was an unbelievable goal, and they spoil senior night and get their first ACC win since 2022.